Hey, it's BZ True Talk, and Truth Media Revolution has come out with a video. It was a bit ago, a week or so ago. But I saw that he put out something new, and he wants to give people a wake-up call, and that NASA lies, and that the sun is not a nuclear furnace. And he claims throughout a whole bunch of certainties, like we know that the whole universe is electric. We know that the sun is not a nuclear furnace. And several other things he just claims. We know. Now, this channel has absolutely no scientific knowledge or background. He's merely someone who is coasting off lingo presented by other people and creating a myth maker, ancient aliens kind of representation for his viewers in order to make himself seem smart, having an idea of what's going on, and coasting off the backs of others. He provides some links. We're talking about this guy here who's looking through cameras and doing a camera rotation test and seeing gigantic pink clouds. And for some reason, he thinks people like this guy, who is in 2016 seeing things with a very basic camera, seeing this anomaly of a gigantic pink cloud, and then he can make some super bold claim about it as if hundreds of thousands of people have never looked through cameras before at the sun. I mean, what the fuck are we dealing with here? You think finally some guy notices it and can make the claim that the sun is artificial after all this fucking time. That the big Asian package, which is not borne out as far as stereotypes go, has figured it all out. Then you got Free Energy Man with his hat, 77G Slinger, who basically tosses out bullshit all day long. Alright, so 17-year-old invents free energy device for $15. This is the kind of shit you get with this channel. I've been wanting to do videos on it for a while. What this kid did was he lit up an LED string light, which takes about like 5 watts of energy. It takes some really small amount of energy that he harnessed using some coiled up device. There, that thing there. There it is. This, where he was able to grab essentially the energy from the radio waves that are propagated through, across the earth. He used those waves to light up the smallest, very almost non-existent energy usage, because LEDs are created and efficient. The reason they're switching to LEDs is because LEDs don't use a whole lot of energy and get the result that they need for that little bit of energy. So he uses this very low energy usage string that he got lit up with this thing. And then he claims it's a free energy device, which it's not. It is taking the energy that was broadcast through the air via radio waves from some 30,000 megawatt station or whatever the power is of the radio stations, and he's just grabbing that up. It's always been there. At best, it's not free energy, it's energy recycling. Because someone is blasting those radio waves at a very high fucking power level in order to get their radio signal to people's radios so they can listen to, back in the old days, shit like the Lone Ranger or the Shadow Knows, radio technology. That's all he did. It's not free energy. It's a conversion. And it's inefficient and ineffective, or they'd be doing it everywhere. This 13-year-old, while probably getting ideas from someone who's smarter than him, is at least learning stuff, unlike 77G Slinger and Mr. Wake Up Call. It's an energy conversion. It's recycling of energy that was used. The energy that he's grabbing up with these coils to power the smallest thing ever imaginable, which is those lights, the smallest amount of energy ever used to make lights, that energy was provided to that radio station to broadcast that signal, probably through burning coal or some other fossil fuel. Doubtful that it's solar or wind, but that's where the energy come from to do this. He didn't create it out of nowhere. It was burned coal that brought this to life, and he merely recycled it. So this is the non-understanding of people like this guy here. They go, it was free. Oh, when the guy makes the hydrogen water car, it's free. No, it's energy conversions in an inefficient manner that have been long since rejected by actual chemical engineers. They don't do it that way because it's very inefficient energy-wise and thermodynamically. But guys like this guy don't know anything about that. And they help people like Truth Media Revolution myth make. But it's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. So I don't even know what this guy's about, but it's definitely going to be some other kind of myth making. Concave Earth, simulated gravity problems, ISS hoaxer. It's the same shit. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. All right, so one of the big things in here is his reliance on D.B. Larson. All right, so D.B. Larson, the case against the nuclear atom. You can watch this video here, Inductive Reasoning, the case against the nuclear atom. As you can see, I've already watched through an hour of it, wasted my fucking time. And now you can go to the Thunderbolts Project, was the other link, where Thunderbolts is trying to say that just like with D.B. Larson, they propose that inductive reasoning says that there should be essentially a grand unifying thing beneath the layer that we know that unifies all that we know and will redefine and redescribe things. All well and fine and good, but if you don't do it in the right way, it's not science. All right, so with Thunderbolts, some of it is mythology. Some of it is very mythological. It's bad ideas, bad information. It comes from, if somebody's imagination spurs them to think about things, that's one thing. But when they bring the mythology along with the science, it's kind of bullshit. So if they stick with the science, I won't trash them so bad. All right. Deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning was the whole argument for this Dewey Larson guy. You can look up his history. It's very lackluster. He has, he's an old guy. He has a lot more practical experience with applying different things than I do. But his education was not any further than mine. In fact, I benefit from the fact that I'm a younger man and I've gotten to learn the more cutting edge stuff rather than him leaving his education way earlier and probably back when Einstein was still like a virgin. So, though his ideas aren't completely radical off base and just simply dismissed outright, and he talks, he's not retarded like flat earthers. Basically, you could go through this and it's kind of like what flat earthers do. He has an idea to redefine, rename, and tether together all the physical laws of the universe in some new way, while providing absolutely no new information. He's like, well, instead of having a vector, we'll call it a duality. What is it? The reciprocal. All right, so now instead of having space-time, we'll call it reciprocal. And take the two parts, space and time, and create a new way of describing that. It's just kind of like speaking Russian and speaking, it's like writing English and writing Russian. That's all he did. He provided absolutely no new knowledge, except maybe just the mere fact that he was writing it in a new language might give people in the future a chance to express, or it might give a new idea, a new spin. It's just a new spin. He took the language that they normally use and then he wrote it in Russian. And now they can look at it in Russian, say, is an analogy I can use. And then will that lead to new knowledge because they're looking at it in a slightly different angle? Maybe, but nothing he said really bears to anything, to bring any new light about our actual existence in our physical world. Except in doing this, he likes to say, oh, Einstein's wrong, and this guy's wrong, and this guy's wrong. Yeah, pretty much the cutting edge of physics is waiting to say who was wrong in the past, and let's move past it later. That's what science does. They're ready to go, okay, Einstein was wrong about 90% of what he says. We figured things out. Now let's move on. That's what it does. But myth makers like this guy just want to make blanket claims. Free energy people just want to make blanket claims, and none of it's based on anything real. They didn't do any of the work. They just got some weird idea. And weird ideas don't cut it. I mean, you can go back. You can find the people. It's like, you'll find on this channel some guy talking about, yeah, I've made the free energy device. And he's sitting in his garage not using any free energy. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Supposedly you have the ability to generate electricity for fucking nothing. And we don't see anything being powered. We don't see you getting any richer, saving yourself work, anything. And that's what we're looking at. So the real wake-up call is that Truth Media Revolution needs to grow up. Stop trying to pretend he has scientific knowledge and truths that he doesn't. And get back to doing some actual work for the human population. Start getting back and using his consciousness to work with other humans on the problems that actually affect people. Making up shit that isn't real and saying I can save the world with my illusion is not a good way to lead your life. And that's what you do. You're a myth maker. And if you like the fame, if you're so arrogant and you're such a narcissist and you like, the 92,680 subs that you have because they're able to believe the delusion you create for everybody, then I guess we'll just call you a cocksucker for the rest of your life, because that's what you'd be. If you want to join the human race and start looking for real solutions instead of living in some fantasy world right here, sitting in this fantasy world, then you're lost. Goodbye. See you later. Because you have nothing. This wasn't anything. There wasn't anything in here, really. I mean, it's just as stupid as the flat earthers, where they're like, we have the density theory for how things fall. Gravity's not real. Well, people tell them, well, what we call this stuff is gravity. And they're like, no, gravity's not real. Well, everything they say is exactly the same as gravity. They just rename it. They're like, we don't like the name gravity. We want to say you're all wrong. And then we can say that if we rename the exact same manifestation as something else. Then it's not called gravity, thus you're wrong. That is as, second grade as it gets, and that's what they do. Anyway, BZ out. This guy's a fraud. This guy's a fraud too.